Are you ready to dive into real estate investing, but worried about finding reliable tenants for your rental property? You're not alone. This is one of the biggest concerns for new investors. So in today's video, I'll be sharing my foolproof methods for screening tenants and the essential tools I use to ensure I only select the best tenants. Stick around until the end because I've got some insider tips that could save you a lot of headaches down the road. First things first, let's talk about the pre-screening process. When first talking to a potential tenant, you'll want them to fill out an application form. During this process, you'll want to take note of your first impression of this potential tenant. Are they aggressive? Are they overly nice? Are they asking dumb questions that are literally on the listing? Take note of all these first impressions you have. If they're horrible up front, they'll be your worst nightmare as tenants. You don't want to pick someone just to pick someone. It's better to have a vacant house than a non-paying tenant. On the formal application, it'll ask the potential tenant for basic information, personal details, rental history, employment information, and references. It's important that the potential tenant fills out this application in full. If they do not know how to follow directions, you're sure to know they probably won't be good at following directions later. Some standard questions I always ask on my applications include, do any of the people applying smoke? Have you ever declared bankruptcy in the last 7 years? Have you ever been convicted of a felony? Have you ever been evicted? These are just some common questions that will be on my application. Have you ever refused to pay rent when due? I must see 2 years of work history, income verification documents, and 2 years of residence history. My application even automatically asks for a reference check from prior landlords. This application will give you all the information you need to make a decision on this potential tenant. Now that you have their application filled out, it's important to have additional tenant screening tools besides just the information that the tenant provides. You'll want to do different checks depending on what kind of rental you are doing. Typically in a shared house, when you're renting it room by room, you'll do a background and criminal check to ensure the safety of everyone in this house. For a long-term rental, you'll want to do a credit check. Additionally, you'll want to do an eviction report check to see if the tenant has ever gotten evicted. Obviously, you ask all these questions on the application, but you need to go trust and verify that the information they're reporting is actually correct, because people actually lie. The credit, background, and eviction report are all done at the same time as my application. When someone applies, they have to pay $55 to submit their application. This will run all 3 reports to supplement their application. For income verification, it's super important to use W-2s, bank statements, or pay stubs. See how consistent the income is. Do they come in at the same time every month? Are they commission only? Seasonal? You'll want to request income statements for the last 3 months to verify the income is stable if you're doing a long-term rental. Personally, I do month to month, so verifying income isn't as important because I can easily kick them out. But I still do it anyway, so I don't have to deal with the headache of having to find a new tenant every single month. It's super important to get a credit check on your tenants. This will give you their payment history and what other monthly debts they are currently paying. It'll show you whether any of their debts went to collections for not paying, or if they have been paying all of their payments on time. Pro tip, if your tenant doesn't have credit, don't risk it. There are really good tenants out there with great credit and great income, and you'll be able to find them if you just keep looking. Some people will say, I've never had a credit card before, so I don't have any credit. Skip them, because you just really have no idea how their payment history is like. Now that you have a full application with supplemental reports, it's time to evaluate your prospective tenants. When going through that process, you're going to want to contact their references. Verify that their landlord references are right. What does the old landlord have to say about this tenant? Confirm if their employment references are stable. You also want to verify their rental history. Assess their rental history for consistency and reliability. Sometimes you'll be able to see rent payment on the credit report, but you'll for sure be able to see if they have any past evictions on the rental report. I typically avoid anyone who has had a past eviction. It's not worth the headache, but that's up to you to decide. So you want to evaluate all the information given and make your best educated guess based off the information. And if you feel in your gut that they're not good, don't go with them. Sometimes you just have to listen to your gut, even if they look good on paper. I've had horrible tenant stories where I didn't listen to my gut, even though these people looked absolutely stellar on paper. And it was my worst nightmare. The worst thing was that they lived in my house, so they were my roommate, and I felt super uncomfortable for 2 months living with them. By the way, I also use a software to do this entire applications process. They generate the application where I can add whatever questions I want. They generate all the reports, collect payments, and even generate state templated leases. I do all things real estate rental property management on this software. And the software that I use is called Avail. I partnered with them to give you a $50 credit just by going to my link if you're looking for a new property management software. So go to the link in the description below to sign up. And that's how I screen my tenants. By following these steps, you can significantly reduce the risk of renting to unreliable tenants and ensure your property remains in great condition and you have as little headaches as possible. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more real estate investing tips. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Happy investing. Shoots. Hey, watch this video next. YouTube really thinks you're gonna like it.